So I'll just say hello again because I'm starting the recording again. But hi, everybody. So it's Thursday today. And I've asked you who are attending to please, if you don't mind putting your camera on, to do so, and your microphone, because I really want today to be quite interactive because it's quite a fun one. And I think being, working as a team, I think we can really get some nice ideas going. So do feel free to put your camera on and, chat and engage and enjoy as well. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. I've really enjoyed, don't worry, Anita. I've really enjoyed the week so far, and I'm loving all the chats on the Facebook group as well. I think you're all on that. So it's great to see you all there. Don't forget there's prizes tomorrow. So tomorrow we've got a really good session lined up as well, and then there's prizes at the end. So do engage, do enjoy, do comment and share, etc., etc. Okay, right. So yesterday we talked about how to build the plate, and we started, I've got a blank one here, but we started filling in the how to, the different food groups, different foods that we like in the different groups. And this is going to be really helpful because this is now going to help you to write your meal plan in 5 minutes. So if you keep this to hand all the time, you can see how if every week you print off from the workbook the meal planner page, you can literally just pick a mix and create a meal plan super easy from that. And what I would suggest is that you maybe, create a really nice, easy meal plan with some recipes that you know really well and you're comfortable making, etc. And then every week, maybe just swap out 1 or 2 meals and just play around with it to get the variety that way. You don't need to rewrite the whole plan all the time. The other thing I would say, just to make meal planning really easy, is particularly personally for me, breakfast. I just have like the 1 or 2 go-tos that I have every day for breakfast. Breakfast is normally a rush. It's normally, you're making it to take out on the go with you, or even if you're having it at home, it's like it's almost a bit of a pain to sit down and have breakfast. So and think about breakfast. So maybe just have, a standard 2 or 3, 1 or 2 go-to breakfast. I just put those on. And obviously you can always vary it on the odd day when you want to, if you're on holiday or what have you, but it's just convenient, it's just easy and quick. And if you're focusing on the protein and maybe putting some fiber in there, then you're just going to make that really easy and it's going to tick the boxes straight away. So in the workbook, you've got, sorry, I hope the paper's not noisy. You've got as well these 2 sheets to help you with the meal planning. So these are almost like my version, my template of what you created yesterday with your food group. So we can use this to build that. So if we think about, for example, we're not going to be able to do every single meal today now, but if we think about dinner, so for dinner, we've got Monday for dinner, so we're going to fill in this column here. And then you can just literally say, okay, so what protein am I going to make for dinner Monday night? And you can tick off, oh, okay, we're going to have some turkey, and write turkey there. And then I've split all the other groups into things that you want to be having. So I've put leafy greens as their own group on here because I think they get overlooked sometimes and they're so valuable. Great source of plant-based iron, great source of vitamin K, vitamin D, some have got vitamin E, and they've got loads of different things in. So you really want to be getting those leafy greens in. They're really good for digestion as well. And good for your gut health. So I've kept those in a separate group, and I would say try, I've put at least 2 a day. Try and put one of those onto maybe lunch and dinner on here every day, just to keep that variety going. And then we've got the cruciferous vegetables, and I've put those separate on here as well. I've elaborated on this template for you. Cruciferous vegetables basically means, you can see from the list, it's your cabbages, your broccoli, your kale, your Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower, all those vegetables. And the reason why I've put those as separate is because cruciferous vegetables have their very own unique health benefits. They're really, really good for liver support. So they are really good for helping us to detox. And when we are going through perimenopause and menopause particularly, the cruciferous vegetables really help with the liver function to detox the hormones. So when all the hormones are all over the place, we want to get those hormones that we've used out of our body. We want to eliminate them efficiently as well as we can. So by including cruciferous vegetables, I put once per day. You definitely want to be having them at least 4 times a week. Trying to get those cruciferous vegetables in is really going to help you with your liver function. It's going to help with detox. It's going to help with menopause symptoms, if that's you. So I put them separate. And again, it's just really kind of to help you to focus on them and to remember them when you're doing your meal planning. And then I put all the other vegetables on there. So there's a massive list of vegetables. I mean, I'm sure I've forgotten some, but they're the ones that, I like. So again, I've said as a guideline, 2 for lunch, 2 for dinner, and 1 with your snack. It's a guide. It doesn't have to be quite that strict. Or maybe you would have had some mushroom for breakfast that day, and then you don't need it as your snack. But it just, again, to give you an idea, and if you're ticking off all these boxes on your meal planner, you're 100% getting all the nutrients that you need. You're getting everything, and you're getting a lovely variety. And if you're doing a mixture from these lists over the 7 days a week, or 5 days, if you want to just meal plan Monday to Friday, you're making sure you're getting a lovely range of nutrients, a lovely range of textures. So it's a really good way to do it. It's really quick and easy. I've put fruits on there as well. I've said 1 to 2 per day. Like I said, I don't know why people seem to avoid fruit and think fruit's evil. So I've put it on there. Enjoy fruit. Have some fruit, maybe with your breakfast, or have it as your mini meal, your snack mid-afternoon, or as a sweet dessert after your dinner. But feel free to include fruit. And I think I put most of the fruits on here. There are things like dried apricots on here and cranberries. The dried cranberries, I don't think you'd want it fresh, a bit sour. But like I said yesterday, the dried fruit is going to be higher in sugar. They're on the list, but just be a bit careful with those. But most of the others, apples, pears, plum, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, peaches, nectarines, they're all great. They're all going to be really good for you. So, include them and enjoy them. And then healthy fats as well. And we talked a bit about healthy fats yesterday. So I put a list of them here. I've said here 2 per day. You probably will find there's a little bit more fat sneaking in, because obviously if you want to use some olive oil for cooking, or some butter for cooking, then it's going to get in that way as well. But that's just as a guideline, really, to help you plan your meal planning. So basically what you then want to do is you want to go to, let's talk about dinner as an example. So you're just going to simply pick a protein, pick a leafy green. You might want to pick a cruciferous that day as well. Maybe you'll alternate the leafy greens and the cruciferous, I don't know. And then you might choose another 2 vegetables from the vegetable list. And you've got your healthy dinner, and that's a meal plan, and that's really easy and quick. So I've done this a lot with a lot of clients, like one-to-one clients. We've sat down together and filled this in, and it really does. It gives them so much clarity, and you can get more elaborate, more complicated, and etc. And I've got meal plans on my recipe library as well. Some really good meal plans on there, specifically aimed at different health conditions. So if you've got arthritis, or you've got high blood pressure, or high blood sugar, whatever it is, there are specific meal plans on my library, which you can access through the membership. But this is just a really easy way to start. And I think once you've got a basic meal plan done, I just think, again, it comes back to that feeling organized, feeling in control, and it just takes that stress away. So you start to know, okay, Monday's dinner is X, Y, Z, and it's just easy. You don't have to think about it, but it's still ticking all those boxes. It's still giving you everything you need. And then, like I say, every couple of weeks you can just switch a couple out, but it's just giving you that structure, I suppose. And again, going back to what I said on, I think it was Tuesday, when talking about routine, having that time on, say, a Sunday and a Wednesday evening to look at your diary ahead and be, okay, well, look, Wednesday night we're not in, or Wednesday night I've got friends over, so you can play around with it and you can feel like you're a bit organized. It just really helps. So that's going to be relevant as well for the snacking we're going to talk about in a bit as well. So does anyone have any questions? And feel free to talk rather than use the chat today. I think it's nice to communicate. Anyone got any thoughts on this?
Do chickpeas come under protein or carbs?
That's a good question. So again, like the milk we talked about before the recording went on, they kind of straddle 2 food groups, because they are fiber, so they are a carb, but they're also a protein. I would say if you're vegetarian or vegan, they are going to be your main source of protein. So I would put them in the protein column. If you are eating, meat, fish, dairy, eggs, then I would keep them probably in my carb section, but consider them like a healthy carb. If I can. I think I'm missing a page here, because I think there should be the starchy carbs as well. I don't think I spoke about those, but I think they must be on another page. If they're missing in the workbook, let me know, because I thought I had to hand everything I printed off. But there should be a starchy carb section as well, with chickpeas, lentils, pasta, rice. So if you want to include those on your, one of your meals or two of your meals, you can. So I'll double check that after the session and make sure that's there. And if not, I'll add it. Yeah, did that answer your question?
Thanks. Yeah.
Has anyone done meal planning before? Like, has anyone used a meal plan? No.
Yeah, I have. I do.
Okay. And do you find it helps?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. So do you then write your shopping list based on the meal plan? And
Yeah, and I try to plan because I have to do it for the kids as well. Otherwise, we're all over the place.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
not like so rigidly, but just have to have an idea.
And sorry to put you on the spot, Joe, do you alternate it, or is it kind of like every Monday's this night, every Tuesday's that night? Like, how
Oh
do you
no, change it.
Okay, so every week you're sitting write a new meal plan.
But quickly,
Yes. Yeah.
if I can. Yeah, quickly.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think it needs to be onerous, but it just gives you that kind of, like you say, just gives you that idea that you know what you're doing and you feel a bit more organized. So, especially, working mums, and you're trying to feed a family as well. You come in through the front door and you're like, and the worst question I get from my family is, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? I can't bear it. So, having the meal plan, I just find it does really help. It just makes you feel a bit more organized.
Yeah, I do it too. I find personally doing planning 3 meals a day a bit much. I found it a bit too stressful, but I can have a whiteboard thing on my fridge that I got on Amazon, and it has like every day, and I literally just write the protein that I'm going to have for dinner. So like I'll have chicken, and I might decide on the day if I'm going to do stir fry or whatever, and I do it that way. But I don't really plan lunches, and that's probably where I downfall a bit. But then I find that I sometimes just like to see how I feel on the day in terms of lunch and that kind of thing. But yeah, it definitely helps with the evening.
Yeah.
Even though my husband asked me 15 times what's for dinner when he can literally see, and then asks me 2 seconds
It's
later
on the board. Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, also again, what we did yesterday, writing those food groups, if you've done your shopping, if you've used that to do your shopping list, even if you do want that flexibility of, I'm just putting my protein down and I'll worry about the veg and the carbs, at the time. If you've done that shopping, it's all there. So it's easy to do it. It's just, it's when you walk through the front door and you're like, what am I making and what have I got in? That's when I think the downfall happened. So, like, I'm glad that you guys are doing meal planning, but it's also, you're making it work for you a bit and keeping it flexible. That's in my opinion, that's the way to do it. And things like meal prepping, I can't meal prep. I hate that. Like, I can food prep. So when I talk about snacking in a minute, we'll be talking about food prepping, but meal prepping, where I make like 5 meals for the next week on one day, I can't do that, because again, I like that flexibility of knowing I can, what I fancy on the day. If you've made something and then you don't fancy it, you're not going to enjoy it, are you? So I think meal prepping can sometimes be a little bit too restrictive, whereas I think planning and food prepping can be quite helpful. Does anyone have what's like a go-to favorite meal that everyone else could write on their meal plan? Does anyone want to share one? Joe, what are you making tonight on your meal plan?
Oh God, what am I making tonight? Tonight is different actually because of the kids' activity. So they've got a lasagna, which is just can be timed in the oven, but I won't eat that. So I'm making something different. But something I've started to do. It's actually really easy, which everyone will eat because all mine is so fussy. Like one of them won't eat rice, one of them will. But if I stir fry an egg with rice, everyone will eat it. And I can throw loads of veg in and hide it, and a bit of protein if we want. And it's sort of like a chicken fried rice. It's really quick and easy. That works quite well.
And I guess that's easy to make a bit extra and have leftovers for the next day as well, which is quite handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last night I made, was it last night, the night before, I made cod, and I did it with like lentils and tomatoes. So again, it's like ticking off the boxes, going through and putting, okay, so cod, the leafy greens, I used spinach, cruciferous vegetables I didn't have for dinner, but then I had tomatoes and onions and garlic. So, and olive oil for the healthy fats, lentils for the starchy carbs, which also was layering up the protein. So it's just kind of using the build your plate concept from yesterday, and the shopping list helps you to build that plan. So for example, I might say tonight, okay, so for Thursday night, I'm going to do minced beef and I'm going to serve that on a bed of cabbage, because instead of pasta I might have some cabbage. So I've ticked off my protein and my cruciferous veg. Maybe I'll put a handful of spinach in the mince, the bolognese. So then I'm getting my leafy green, and then I might do like a little side salad with it, so then I can tick off my other vegetables. So it doesn't have to be sort of weird and wacky recipes or meals. It just just picking from the different sections to build it for yourself. So I hope that makes sense. I'd really love you guys to fill this in and share it. I did a meal planning like workshop. I think it was actually last year now. I don't know where the time's gone, but I did one of these on the membership, and everybody wrote out their meal plans and we all shared them on the group chat. And actually it was such a lovely thing because you could zoom in on everyone's meal plan and get, oh, that's a nice one, I'm going to put that on my meal plan. And you get really nice ideas. And I think none of us are professional chefs, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy and gourmet, but it's just like it's easy and it's healthy and it's quick. And I think we all kind of want those kind of meals. So that works really well. So do fill in your meal plan and do share it on the group later. Even if you just do Monday to Friday, even, if like Carly, you just want to do your dinner, I would say maybe think about lunch a little bit as well, just to again keep you on track. Like I say, breakfast, I just put protein shake every day, and then I might have on the weekend some eggs for a change, but just quick, it's easy, I don't have to think about it. So have a think about what works for you, what works for your schedule, and putting that in. And obviously there's days when you need a packed lunch because you're at work, or days when you might have like you're working late at work, you're not going to get home, or if you've got kids that are doing different activities, and so that day you need something that's quicker to cook. And it just helps you to feel a bit organized. And I think half the time we go off track because we're not organized. So anyone have got a question about meal planning or anything they want to ask? Because I'm aware of the time, so I'm going to move on to snacking, which I think a lot of you wanted to talk about anyway. No questions? Okay. So snacking. I don't know why snacking's like a really hard one, isn't it? Because I think we're all kind of quite good generally with our meals, and then the snacking is where I think we feel like we fall down. A big tip I would give you is when it comes to snacking, you shouldn't need to snack. I mean, it's quite a new concept, snacking, in terms of our like evolution, if you like, and certainly like our grandparents, our great grandparents, and way back when, people didn't snack. They would have their meals a day and that would be it. This concept of snacking obviously comes from like the food industry, like manufactured edibles. It's not even real food half the time, is it? But they, that's where this whole concept of snacking comes from. It's a manufactured thing so that the food companies can make more money out of us. And the things like the vegetables and the fruit and the, like the starchy carbs and even a lot of the protein, it's not actually that expensive and it's not that profitable for these companies. They want you to be buying the snacks, the junk food, the rubbish, because that's cheap for them to make and they make loads of profit on it. So this whole concept of snacking, we shouldn't really need to snack. And if we are eating and building our plates, how I've talked about over the course of the week, and we're putting that protein in, we're putting that fiber in, we're putting those healthy fats in, we shouldn't actually need to snack like all day. We shouldn't be getting those that hungry and that need for energy or whatever. It should be sustainable. 3 meals, and I always bring that extra snacking because I think lunch to dinner can be quite long. We have quite long days, most of us, and quite busy days as well. So I do bring that extra feed in there, but we shouldn't need breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. It's too much. We should be able to balance our blood sugar and digest our food. And if we're eating real food and the fiber and the protein and the fat, we should be absolutely fine. So if you are somebody that struggles with going between meals and you do need snacking and you find you're grazing a lot, really think about what you're eating over the course of the day. If you're someone that needs to snack at 10 o'clock at night because you're starving before you go to bed, something's gone wrong in the day building up to that. You haven't eaten well enough in the day, and that's not volume, it's quality. It's something you're missing that's not enabling you to feel satisfied and satiated to go to sleep. So do think, if you're hungry, why are you hungry? What have you missed from the course of the day, so that next time you can rectify that. Also, sometimes we snack on autopilot. To think about why you're snacking. Are you genuinely hungry? Are you thirsty? We sometimes confuse when we're busy hunger and thirst, and most of us don't drink enough water. I haven't spoken about water all week, but most of us don't drink enough water. So dehydration, when you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So maybe you need a drink. So do make sure you're drinking during the course of the day. If you're thinking about snacking, if your brain's trying to distract you and thinking about food, you know, it sounds a bit corny, have a glass of water, see how you feel. You might find actually that's all you really needed was a bit of hydration. So try that. Are you snacking because you're bored? You know, so what, you know, can you take yourself, go and do something to distract yourself, have a bath, clear out a cupboard, you know, speak to the husband, you know, make a phone call, send a text message, prepare dinner, I don't know, do something to distract yourself. Maybe you're eating out of habit. So again, if you're somebody that always, without fail, at 4 o'clock, you know, when you have your cup of tea, you always have a couple of biscuits with that cup of tea, whether you're hungry or not. That's habit. So think about it. Think about why you're eating, what you're eating, when you're eating it, and try maybe to put barriers in the way so that you're more cognizant of what you're doing. So if it is the biscuit with the cup of tea, put the biscuit tin away, put it in a cupboard the other side of the kitchen, you know, behind a door, so that you have to think about it more consciously. Oh, the biscuit's not there. Do I really want a biscuit? And you know, you might find that half the time you actually don't really want it, especially like I say, if you've had a good breakfast and lunch, that afternoon biscuit, you shouldn't need it. And if you prepare some healthy snacks, you should have, which we're going to talk about, you should have your go-tos. It should be fairly easy to have stuff ready to go to and to be organized. So I spoke a bit about, does anyone have a question, or is that, I know I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so one thing I would say with snacking, a really good thing to do, and I mentioned it when I talked about meal planning, is food prepping. Because if you can prep a few things and have them in your fridge and in your store cupboard, it's going to make the concept of snacking much easier. So what do I mean by that? I tend to try and have like an area of the fridge where I've got some prepped crudités, they're already there, you know, some carrots, cucumber, whatever, hard-boiled eggs, maybe some cooked chicken, maybe, you know, a jar of olives, maybe some hummus portioned out in some little pot, those kind of things, maybe some, you know, a piece of cheese or something. So there's stuff there that you can grab, so that when you are, you know, when you are busy, there's easy, healthy snacks that tick the boxes and are still giving you nutrition and still giving you something that's going to make you feel full and satisfied. So I would definitely try doing that. And again, in your, you know, in the store cupboard, you know, having some rye crackers, having some nuts, having some seeds, maybe having like, again, and there's like loads of recipes online, but also in my library, of things like, you know, little muffins you can make, little oat bars you can make, things like that. So protein balls, anything like that. So like healthier snacks. Popcorn's a good one as well, like plain popcorn's quite a good one. So having those things in your cupboards and in your fridge ready to go is going to make snacking a lot easier. Also having like little Tupperwares, you know, try and look for the label, try and make sure they're BPA free. Sarah, I'll look at your message in a bit. Sorry, Joe's not here today to help me. But trying to have all the different sizes of Tupperware so that you've got something small to put some nuts in, maybe something to store some hard-boiled eggs in, so that things are easy, you know, it's all organized in the fridge and the cupboard, and it's easy for you. So I think that's a really good thing to do. And again, when you're looking at your diary and you're thinking about the next few days ahead, if there is a day you're out for several hours, you know, what could you take with you in your bag to snack on when you're hungry at snack time, or, you know, if you're caught short, or your, you know, lunch wasn't great or whatever. So I would say, you know, take some crudité, take a handful of nuts, take a protein ball, have stuff with you, you know, that you've got stuff there, so you're not relying on stopping off and grabbing something in the shops that's maybe not going to be quite so healthy. So it's just about being a little bit organized, and by doing the routine and by spending that time looking, you know, the days ahead and doing the meal plan, it should all kind of slot into place. So snack ideas. I would always say I mean, personally, I don't have a sweet tooth. I'm much happier with savoury snacks. And I would say try and stick to the savoury snacks where you can. They are going to be just generally a little bit more healthy. So some examples would be things like hard-boiled eggs, some crudités with some hummus, you can even get like the rice cakes or whole grain crackers, and I would say have a if I'm at home, I often have a couple of crackers and I'll put some tuna on them and some cucumber. So don't think of a snack as like something you're grabbing and eating walking around necessarily, or something that that like when we think about snacks, we tend to think about like biscuits, crisps, cake. Try and think of your snacks as a small meal, so that you're still putting the protein there, you're still putting the fiber there, you're still using whole food. So like yesterday at 4 o'clock, for whatever reason, I was starving. I don't know why. I think because I'd been doing the live and then lunch was a rush, but that's my fault. I didn't plan. But the afternoon, I had some crackers with some tuna and some cucumber, about 3:30, and just like a couple. But that meant it kept me going till dinner time, but it gave me a bit more protein and some fiber, and it was actually yielding some nutritional benefit to me, rather than just like mindless empty calories and empty food. Salted popcorn's a good one. Edamame are great. I buy the frozen edamame in the pods, and they're in the freezer, and you can take them out and you can literally boil them or do them in a steamer or a microwave. And literally they take 5 minutes. You can put them in a Tupperware with a bit of salt on, or eat them, if you're at home, you can eat them straight away. But again, edamame, they're what we call phytoestrogens. So they actually yield a little bit of estrogenic properties. So again, for things like menopause, where you're trying to balance your estrogen a little bit, edamame and tofu and things like that are really great. So snacking on edamame can be a really good thing to do from that perspective. It's really high in protein, really high in fiber. So that's a good snack to do. And my kids love it as well. So my son takes it to school for a snack. Roasted seeds, you can always get like a mixture of seeds and roast them in the oven, or in a pan for a few seconds, and even put like some flavors on them. You can put some paprika or some chili. You can do the same with nuts. You can roast nuts and put flavorings on those as well. So again, that's a really good one to do. Cottage cheese is a great one. Cottage cheese is really easy if you like cottage cheese. Some people can't. I like it. But a tub of cottage cheese, have the full fat. No, nothing wrong with full fat cottage cheese. A tub or a scoop of like full fat cottage cheese with some fruit on top or some seeds on top. That's also going to be a lovely option for a mid-afternoon snack. Couple of falafel with some olives. That's another option. I'm just looking through my list. I wrote down some ideas. Anyone else got some savoury snacks they like? What's their go-to, or anything they want to share?
Celery peanut butter, I have.
Oh, okay. I like that. I can't eat celery. It's the only vegetable I won't eat, but I can see that working.
But there's not much goodness in celery, is there?
Well, it's very fibrous. So it's good for the
Right.
fibre. Obviously, quite high water content, but
Yeah.
a lot of the vegetables, cucumbers the same. But it's what I would call like active water. There's still lots of energy in it, in terms of like not calories, but just like nutrients and stuff. So it's fine. And the nut butter is great because you're getting some nice healthy fats on there. So you're going to make it, if you have plain celery, you probably wouldn't find it particularly satisfying or filling. But by putting a bit of nut butter on there, making it a nice filling snack. So no, I love that one. That's a good one.
Can I ask a question on that? On the nut butter, is there a brand or type that you recommend?
Yes, there's a couple of brands. There is Pip and Nut is one. There's what's the other one? I can see the picture. I can't think what it's called. I'll have a look and share it with you. Chat. But again, what I would do is use that Yucca app. I think you've got it, haven't you, Sarah?
Yeah.
If you scan the barcode for whatever nut butter you're looking at, Meridian. If you scan if you scan the code, a lot of the supermarkets do their own brand really healthy nut butters now. I mean, in theory, it should literally be the nut and maybe a pinch of salt, and that's it. There shouldn't really be anything else in it. So that's what I would say. And there's almond butter's lovely. Almond butter's a good one. You can get sesame butter if you can't eat certain nuts, and there's sesame one as well. There's lots of options. Definitely. Any other questions on savoury snacks? Carly, I can see you said I will respond to the messages after the live, because I just think I can't read them. I'm going to lose track of where I'm talking. Okay, sweet snacks. Like I said, I would try where you can to stick with the savoury. I just think it's a better habit, and it's not going to, even though the sweet snacks we're going to talk about are all low glycemic, which means they're not going to spike your blood sugar. If you're eating those sweet foods, you could start triggering the whole sweet cravings, and wanting more. So it's that sort of dopamine effect and all that. So I tend to say try and stick savoury. But if you want some sweet snacks, ideas would be protein balls. You can buy them. Again, check the ingredient, because not all protein balls are the same, and some aren't as healthy as they'd like you to think. You can make protein balls. I've got a recipe. If anyone wants the recipe, message me and I will share it with you. But they are really easy to make, and you can make quite a decent batch, and they freeze well. A protein shake is a good option if you want something a bit sweeter. So you could have a healthy protein shake. You could roast your mixed nuts with some cinnamon instead of, and a little bit of maple syrup. So go that way instead of the savoury way. Plain Greek yogurt with some berries is another great option for a healthy, sweeter snack. And then cottage cheese with some sliced fruit was another option I wrote here. And then smoothies. So smoothies are a great option for mid-afternoon if you do want something a bit sweeter, and also if it's easier to kind of slurp on something as you're rushing around your day. Try and put some sort of green, vegetable, something in there, not just fruit, but it is a good way to get, some extra fiber in, some extra nutrients in. I have got a little a program on how to build your smoothie, so to bring in some protein and some healthy fats and different layers for the smoothies. But again, you can always ask. There's lots of smoothie recipes in the library or online. You can always find like smoothie recipes. So just be aware of trying not to just do a massive fruit overload without putting anything else in it. Although the fruit is good for you, you still want to be putting in maybe a bit of protein or some fat just to make the smoothie a little bit more filling and satisfying to keep you going. So those were my sweet ideas. Has anyone else got a sweet snack they like? No. Okay. Well, if you think of one, then you can put it on the Facebook group. Maybe share if you sit down and have a nice healthy mini meal snack this afternoon. Maybe take a quick snap of it and put it on the Facebook group so everyone can see. So I've got some hard-boiled eggs in the fridge for my snack for later. So that's what I'll be having. But I know again, it's like, I don't want to keep everybody on the live for too long. I'm trying to condense everything down. So it has been a bit of an information overload. But I hope that's been really helpful. I hope that you guys can sort of now create your meal plan, from what we've talked about with getting the different food groups and building that meal plan. And maybe just start with just dinners and then see how you get on with that. And you don't have to create the perfect 7-day meal plan, in one go. Do what works for you, what suits your routine and regime. And then also, make a list of some go-to snacks. I would say probably have 4 or 5 snacks in your head that are like your go-tos, and then make sure that whatever those ingredients are, you put them on your shopping list so that you've got them in. And again, with the snacking, if you are going to be out and about, make sure that you've planned ahead and you've got them with you. And some of these snacks you can actually buy in the supermarket as you're out and about as well. I know like a lot of them will do, like a hummus and carrot stick box or some hard-boiled eggs in a box. So even the list that we talked about is still sometimes possible to get on when you're out and about as well, which is probably not going to be so cost effective. So I hope that's helpful. Tomorrow is the final day of the reset. So it's going to be sort of a catch up on everything we've done. And I've also got just a little teaser. We've got this for Friday. I don't know if you can see it. So come with a pen, come with some different colour pens if you want. We're going to colour this in. So that's going to be fun to do tomorrow, and just talk about, what you've gained from the week, and also how you can then use the momentum of this to kind of keep your journey going, and what you can do to keep progressing and to keep, working on your own wellness journey, and obviously prizes. So I hope that's a good session. As soon as the recording is ready, I will put it up on the Facebook group, because maybe you guys even need to rewatch the recording to kind of get all the information. There was a lot on today, but I hope that was helpful, and I look forward to seeing all your chat on the Facebook group, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the final live. If anyone's got any questions, happy to hear them, or I can see the chat's been busy, so I will catch up with that as well once the meeting's over, and I'll respond to any questions directly. But I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Okay, brilliant. Lovely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Good afternoon. Bye.
Bye.